Hey guys, Pedro here to do an album review, and I'm here to talk about the brand new Dimmu Borgir Aeonian, the band's 10th studio album. It's out now. And the best way I can start off this review and describe this album for you guys, at least to my perspective, is that this album to me felt like the musical equivalent of the TV series Black Mirror. And I'll explain it to you. I really felt that this album, with its 10 tracks and 55 minutes in duration, was really well built and really well structured. And it really felt to me that from song 1 to song 9, you're looking at 9 individual songs with their own life, their own structure, their own storytelling aspect. But even though they're all different and they're all individuals, somehow they all feel like there's a dark and ominous connection between them. And then at the end, you get track number 10, Rite of Passage, which is an instrumental track. And that, to me, it felt like the credit score at the end of a movie or at the end of a TV show. So when you put these components together, the whole album structure really felt to me like that TV series. It really had that vibe, that dark, ominous vibe to it. And even in the way the storytelling aspect of the lyrics come across in these songs. So that, to me, is the best way I can start off and describe this album to you guys. Now, to me, there's two components that it's impossible for you to listen to this album and not point out these two elements that to me were perhaps overused, but one of them, well, both of them I feel were overused. One of them to me was not as much of an issue as the other. Okay, so to me, those two components that I really feel that were overused throughout the album was the symphonic elements and the choir. Now, the symphonic elements, I didn't mind the overusage of those elements because I really feel that it added darkness to the music. It really added a different element to the music. Sometimes beauty can be dark and it can be scary. And I think the beauty and the symphonic elements added to the lyrics of the songs and to the rest of the instrumentation around the songs really created an ominous and dark vibe to the songs. So even though it was overused, I didn't mind it that much because I really enjoyed it and I really thought it brought a different dimension to the music, and I really feel like it gave texture and life to the songs. The aspect that I didn't like was the choirs. The usage of choir I really felt was overly done, and it became almost redundant and boring and stale. I just felt like it would have been okay if they had used it in certain songs, in certain spots, but when you start to overuse it, almost using a choir as if it was a backup singer to give a different look and a different texture to the song. To me, it became dull and stale. It lost its appeal after a while. After you listen to a couple of songs, it just becomes redundant and becomes predictable. And from a listening experience, your ears almost start to tune it off and tune off the songs because it just doesn't add anything new to what you've been listening to song after song after song. So I really think it was used ad nauseum, and it could have possibly been cut down a little bit. And I would have liked to see it being replaced with the secondary vocals, perhaps even clean vocals at some point, perhaps some harsher vocals at some point. I think that would have added a different dynamic to the songs, that would have added a different life to the songs, it would have added different texture to the songs, and would have kept the listener on its toes, not knowing what to expect from song to song, versus getting into a rut where you kind of know what's coming song after song, because it's becoming so predictable. Each song is becoming so predictable. So to me, that was a huge negative as far as I'm concerned. Now, as far as my favorite songs of this album, it was not easy to pick 3 because I was really looking at picking 3 songs that offered the listener something different. And when an album like this has so much of 2 components in it, it really becomes repetitive song after song. So it's really hard to narrow it down to 3 songs that offer you something different. But I was able to find 3 that I think offer a little bit of something different, even though there are elements that are repetitive throughout them. And one of them is Council of Wolves and Snakes. That was the second single that came out. My favorite of the 2 singles that came out. And to me, the storytelling aspect of this song is really dark and is really beautiful. The way the song starts with him almost speaking to the mic, not really singing, that adds a lot of darkness to it. So I really like where they went with this song. I even like the choir in this song. I found the choir in this song was not overly used. It was used in the right moments at the right time to really add darkness and to add atmosphere to the song. And it really did it in this one. When you add the symphonic elements with the choir, with the heaviness of the drums and the guitars. This song altogether really gives that perfect atmosphere, and it is one of the better songs of the album in my opinion. Another song I have to mention is Lightbringer. To me, this song felt almost like Frankenstein. You know, like Frankenstein was a monster built of lesser parts. This song is not necessarily built of lesser parts, but it's a song that felt to me that was built from different elements of different metal genres. So when I heard this song, I felt like it had some thrash components, some black metal components, some death metal components. And it incorporated in some symphonic components, and incorporated all of these components together and made it work as a song. And it comes in the middle of the album, so it creates a little bit of a bridge. It does create something a little bit different. It is one song that's perhaps a little bit different than all others, because it does have all of those components coming together to make one song. And that's one of the reasons I picked this as one of my favorites, because I just felt in a sea of equality, this was perhaps one of those that brought something different to the table. Now, my overall favorite song of the album is I Am Sovereign, and that one was an easy pick because the moment I started listening to the album, and I listened to the album several times, this was one of the songs that spoke to me absolutely immediately. I just felt, and I think a lot of the fans will feel that this is perhaps a throwback song to an older albums. It had more of that old Dimmu Borgir feel to it. It didn't use, or at least didn't overuse, the choir in this song. It's still there, but it's not overly used. Even the symphonic elements are not overly used. So to me, this felt like one of the darker, heavier songs, and one of the songs that were more stripped down to older work. It almost felt like it didn't belong in this album, because the rest of the album is so much different than this song, and this song really stands out because it doesn't overuse those elements that are completely overused throughout the rest of the album. So I really felt that this is one of the best songs of the album, and it was one of those that really spoke to me immediately the moment I heard it. And that's it. So I enjoy the album. Like I said, I really like the album. I will continue to listen to this album because I really enjoyed the symphonic elements of this album. I'm not a big fan of the overuse of the choir, but overall, this is a good album. Let's put it that way. It's a good album. But I want to hear what you guys have to say. Did you guys like it? Did you agree with me in terms of the overusage of the symphonic elements and the choir? What are your favorite songs? Please let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be checking those comments and replying back to you guys so we can have a little bit of a discussion. All right? Take care, guys. See ya.